Hello, welcome to this new presentation. So today we are going to talk about some elements that are important at the moment that you are going to create your theoretical framework. First of all, we are going to consider some definitions that are important at the moment to understand how we can elaborate this important part of our research. Some authors mention that it's like a blueprint or guide for a research. Others mention that it consists of theoretical principles, concepts, and tenets of a theory. Sinclair, for example, explains that its role is similar to a map or a travel. And finally, we can find that it serves as the foundation upon which our research is constructed. So, the main goal of a theory, because we are going to include theories in our theoretical framework, is to understand and explain reality. And also we can find other elements that are important and are provided by the theories. The first one, that they explain a phenomenon. The second one, that they systematize or organize knowledge. And other one is to provide credibility to research problems, research designs, the identification of variables in quantitative research. Also, remember that theories are developed by researchers to explain phenomena, draw connections, and make predictions. In the theoretical framework, you explain the theories that support your research, showing that your work is grounded in established ideas. So, other important ideas that you have to take into account at the moment that you have to create your theoretical framework is that the theoretical framework guides a researcher's choice of research design and data analysis plan. In the second case, the theoretical framework guides and must resonates with every aspect of the research. They are statement of the problem, literature review, methodology, presentation, and discussion of findings. How to create a theoretical framework? So here we are going to identify 3 simple steps. The first one, to identify your key concept. It is perhaps easy to understand the nature and function of theoretical framework if it is viewed as the answer of 2 basic questions. The first one could be, what is the problem or question? And the second, what is your approach to solving the problem or answering the question feasible? In the second step, we can find, evaluate and explain relevant theories. Remember, by conducting a thorough literature review, you can determine how other researchers have defined and draw connections between these concepts. As you write the theoretical framework, aim to compare and critically evaluate the approaches that different authors have proposed. After discussing different models and theories, you establish definitions that best fit your research and justify why this is the case. In more complex research projects, you might combine theories from different fields to build your own unique framework. The third step is show how your research fits in. Apart from discussing other people's theory, the theoretical framework should show how your own project will make use of these ideas. You might aim to one or more of the following. For example, test whether a theory holds in a specific context, use theory as a basis for interpreting the results, critique or challenge a theory. In our practical exercise, we are going to consider these elements at the moment that you have to write your theoretical framework. First of all, you can include 4 or 5 paragraphs for each concept that you want to include in your theoretical framework. Second, the idea that you are going to define the key concepts, and please take into account that you have to include only a definition from one author or one theory. Also take into account that you have to write relevant information about each one. Include also your interpretation and analysis of each key concept. And this part is very important. Use in-text citation to cite each article. Use paraphrasing instead of long or short quotations. And finally, write in the references the authors mentioned here. Now we are going to check an example about a theoretical framework. Here we have an example of a theoretical framework. In this case, our research paper is related to the theoretical framework for the study. And here, if you could see in the first part, you have like a paragraph in order to introduce the elements that we are going to have like a theories or important elements that are going to support our research paper. Here, if you could see, you have like the first big element or the first big category, that is the role of a theoretical framework in research, and some of the authors that are going to support that specific definition in that specific paper. In the second part, we consider that theoretical framework for this study, pedagogical content knowledge, is like the second theory that is going to support our paper. In this kind of paper, you can include some figures in order to clarify some specific knowledge that you consider important to mention, and it's important that you can follow the APA style in order to present those kind of graphs. So if you could see, you have like some subcategories for each of the one big theories that you are going to include in your paper in order to clarify elements that you consider important at the moment that you have to explain the research exercise that you are going to do. It's very important that you check those specific elements from the authors that you select for this kind of exercise, and take into account the number of paragraphs that you are going to use in order to explain how you need to develop this specific part of your research. Remember, this part is very important because it's like the foundation, it's the support of the exercise that you are going to try to do with the research practice. Also, one of the important elements that you are going to consider in this final part is that you can include tables in order to mention other references if you want to include, or if it is necessary to mention them, because you are going to analyze some of them in order to concrete what are the ones that you are going to consider in your own research exercise. At the end, remember that we are going to use like some concluding remarks in order to give like a conclusion because of this specific text. Don't forget to use the references according to the authors that you are going to use in your study. I hope that this explanation now is clear for you in order to begin with this specific exercise. Let's do it.